How to fix a cash flow problem. $2 million of revenue, $1 million of debt, $30,000 net income. That doesn't have to be you. Most cash flow problems can be fixed. You just need to solve them systematically. By the end of this video, you're going to know the 5-step solve system that will fix your cash flow. We've actually seen clients, when they come to us, before we're able to really get our hands on them and spend some time with them, it's not unusual to see a business that's generating, say, $2 million in revenue, and they've got a $30,000 net income, a little over 1%, but they're $1 million in debt. And you look at that, I could work that and scale that up to a $15 million business with a couple million in debt, but very low net income, and it's just not a business you want to be running. In fact, there are a lot of times, there's been a couple of times where we've had to tell people, you might be better off getting a job than trying to continue to run this business if this is the model you're going to run it under, because of the stress and the pressure that you're feeling, and wake up at 2:38 every single morning thinking about, how am I going to pay this back? How am I going to pay this off? How am I going to make this little money? And you might be cash flowing a lifestyle, but you're paying for it on the other end. So what I want to do is I want to help you learn how to solve this cash flow problem. So in order to do it, I'm going to do a couple acronyms. Number one is we're going to actually look at the SOLVE acronym. And then with that, we're going to rage over slim pants. You're like, what in the world are we talking about? Don't worry, I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. So the first thing we're going to do to solve your cash flow problem is we're going to go subdivide all your bank accounts. So instead of operating from one bank account, which is what most people do, 1, 2, or 3, we're actually going to create about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different bank accounts so that every time a receivable comes in, we're going to cut it up and put it into its separate home. Well, Scott, I can just do that on a spreadsheet. And wait, you won't. Number one, when we're talking about money, there's something deeply psychological about it. When you go back to all the great teachings of the world, it's well known that Jesus, this great rabbi, this great teacher, he talked about money pretty much more than any other topic that it is. So it tells us right off the bat that when we're talking about money, there's something kind of weird going on. There's something that's unseen, that's happening. And so with it, instead of the money taking control of us, this tool controlling us and using us as its tool, we want to take control of the tool. And so money we see as a tool, we want to take control of that. So what are we going to do? We're going to partition it the moment we get it. And by doing that, we see where every dollar is intended to be able to go. And so when we run out of money in this particular account, now the business is talking to us. The tool is communicating with us to let us know, hey, there's not enough here to be able to do what you thought you could do. But when we're running it all from one bank account, we have no idea what money goes to what. So the first step in solving your cash flow problems, trust me, subdivide your cash bank accounts. By the way, I've got another video that we'll link to in the description link below. It'll walk you through step by step on how to subdivide those bank accounts with a couple of other things, and it's how to solve cash flow problems within a small business. So make sure you go take time to watch that as well. The second element we're going to do to solve our cash flow problems is we're going to begin to organize a tracking system. So with our tracking system, that's where I want to come over here and look at our RAGE Slim Pants methodology. What does that mean? Well, let's start with the RAGE. The RAGE, this is your total revenue, this is your actual cost, your gross margin, and your expenses. Now, what I mean by all of this is really making you aware of these numbers. You'd be shocked at the number of owners that we talk to and say, hey, how much did you do in total revenue last year? And they're like, I don't really know. And a lot of them can't even get us to a ballpark, like 12.3 or whatever. I don't need to know to the penny. But in generalities, we need to understand. Also with their actual cost. This is an even bigger issue. Hey, what are your cost of goods, percentage? And people will go, I don't know, it's 30? And then we start digging and we realize it's 60. Well, that's a big difference in understanding it. And so being aware of your total revenue and your actual cost will help you to understand what your gross margin is so that you know what your expenditures can be to be able to invest in this business and continue to grow. Your awareness around this idea of raging over your money is really, really important, understanding these elements. That'll then lead us into this acronym. We can start to organize and really have clarity on knowing what influences the numbers and usually what causes cash flow problems or what staves us off from those cash flow problems and leads us into profitability. So let's walk through our acronym. First SLIM, and then we'll get to PANTS. When we're talking about living in slim pants within our business, we all want to live lean, right? The SLIM is this. We're looking at scheduling, labor, inventory, and mistakes. When we look at these 4 things here, there's a couple elements that really stand out as we've worked with business owners in the past. All of those are important, but I will tell you this issue of scheduling is crucial. Why? It's because if we don't get the schedule right, then billing backs up and our cycle gets longer and longer and longer. And you know what does not change? Monthly overhead, monthly tax liability, monthly. So the machine keeps rolling and must be fed, but if we push our schedule, then we don't get billing in fast enough. Schedule must be held to because it keeps us on a cycle. And then a lot of times with labor is what ends up happening is as we grow, as we add more revenue, more sales, more whatever it is, then we start to kind of react. And instead of thoughtfully growing with it, with our people and our personnel, we just go, ooh, come help. And we'll start to pay them whatever we need to pay them just to get people in the door. And now all of a sudden the labor expense is outstripping the revenue that's coming in that we're supposed to be aware of up here. And so in order to have this tracking system, here's the system. Have a system for watching your scheduling, your labor, your inventory, and then your mistakes. A lot of us don't have a budget line item in our budget or our expense line item for mistakes or warranty. If you're in a service industry, it could be refunds. You probably ought to have at least a couple of percent in a line item budget for mistakes, callbacks, refunds, or warranties. That then takes us into the second part of the acronym of P.A.N.T.S. So we want to live in slim, lean P.A.N.T.S, right? So we've raged over the money to understand. In slim, we're watching our schedule, our labor, our inventory, mistakes. But these P.A.N.T.S down here are really, really important as we're looking at pricing, accounts receivable, payable, new equipment, taxes, and then any servicing of debt that we have. And so all of these areas, if you can have a time and a repetition, predictability, and meaning where you're looking and you're going through how are we out on our schedule, our labor, our mistakes, our debt servicing, our taxes, whatever, you can start to live within these slim P.A.N.T.S, and that will help to protect and put up border walls against you and cash flow problems. All right, so in our solution, we're subdividing cash accounts, we're organizing a tracking system, raging over the money to live within slim P.A.N.T.S. Now we get to the L, and this is an often overlooked strategy that we need to look at, and that is we need to lock down terms. What do I mean by that? Well, all businesses run under some sort of payment terms. Even if you're a retail business or a food service business, your payment terms are you're going to pay right now. But you could be a home building company or a trades and your terms are 30 days or 7 days or 45 days or whatever it is. The truth is, most of us get into a business and the terms are just sort of what we make up on the fly, but we never think about the consequence of those terms. So you may say, well, what other people do for their terms? And they're like 30 days. Okay, well, we'll do 30 days. But come to find out that your pricing, when you think about your pricing, it actually doesn't fit with a 30-day cycle. In your pricing, because let's say you price low, you need a 7-day cycle so you can get more money in quicker so that you can start to service more. So you're more of a volume business at that point. So what I want you to do is I want you to think thoughtfully through your product and service and lock down what are your payment terms. And I want to tell you a little secret about the market. The market doesn't really care what your terms are. What they care about is that you're clear about your terms and that you follow up with them about your terms so that you've got clarity and they've got reminders. Most people don't pay late because they don't want to pay. Most people pay late because they forget. And so if you can lock down your terms and clearly communicate those, you'll be in great shape to stave off the issues of cash flow. The V for solving this cash is we're going to view our cash weekly. We want to look every week at our cash position to where we're looking at our subdivided cash accounts, and also we're looking at the accounts receivables and accounts payables. So if we can look at those two metrics every single week, we'll know where we stand on our cash position, and then we'll know what our receivables, what we're owed, and what our payables, what we owe to others are. If we can have just those numbers every single week, you're going to have a much better position and understanding of knowing your cash so that you can know what those cycle times look like, and it will help, again, stave off some of those cash flow issues that you're feeling right now. Most people experience cash flow not because the cash isn't there, it's because they don't know. And so if we can start to put up these tracking systems and thoughtfully think through this once a week, you can do that through a once weekly, agenda-driven, leader-led meeting just around this issue. It could be 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Keep it super tight. Same agenda where you're reviewing this stuff. You rage over the cash. What's our revenue? What's our cost? What's our gross margin? What's our expenses? Super quick. You can look at a P&L. And then you can have metrics around your slim P.A.N.T.S to make sure you're looking at all this, or you're looking at subdivided bank accounts and particularly noting your accounts receivables and accounts payables. All that leads in our solution mindset to eliminating guessing. Too many business owners spend most of their days guessing over what they're doing every day. This is not a winning strategy, and this is what will propel you into cash flow problems. Remember, money is a tool. If you don't control money by setting up systems, then the money will control you, and you don't need to do that. Instead, encompassed in a weekly meeting, You can rage over the money, and then you can begin to simply look, are we on schedule? What's our labor budget? Where's our inventory if you have that? Have we had any mistakes or are we budgeting for it? And you can look at price, ARAP, new equipment or capital reinvestment, taxes, and then of course your servicing of debt and making sure that those things are done. You can see it all through the lens of subdivided bank accounts. And when you do that, you've got radical clarity. I know what you might be thinking. Scott, this is super overwhelming. Let me promise you one thing. If you do this all in one spreadsheet and meet over it once a week from now until the end of the year, you will have way more clarity than you thought you have, and you're going to be in a great position to fix the cash flow problem, either that exists today or that is coming for you by sticking your head in the sand. Hey, I want to help you with this. I've got a free gift that I've built for you, and our whole team has put this together. If you go click on the description link below and go to solvecashflow.com, it's a link we've put together with a cash flow solution handbook. And it'll walk you and your team through how to build out subdivided bank accounts, how to begin to track those numbers, how to have those weekly touch points to be able to do it. So let us guide you through that with a handbook that you can work through with your team. So go to solvecashflow.com, down in the description link below, and we'll help you with that so that you can be liberated from cash flow chaos and make time for the things that matter most.